There is no self-care. I'm lucky if I get a shower every day.
Mother's Day gets wrapped up in flowers, cards, picture-perfect moments, but that's not the full story. Today, we're going to talk about what motherhood actually feels like at every stage.
I think it's a love that nobody understands the strength of it until you are a mother. Your kids will never love you as much as you love them, and they're the most important people in your life, and that will never reciprocate.
It's so different with your own. You just think everything's cute.
From a legal standpoint, at 18, they can basically do what they want. So you really only have 18 summers with them, if you think about it.
Welcome everyone back. We got a special episode coming on today. We have Mother's Day Rebel Roots. I feel like Mother's Day gets wrapped up in flowers, cards, picture perfect moments, but that's not the full story. Today we're going to talk about what motherhood actually feels like at every stage, before it happens, right before you're in it, and after you've lived in it for a while. No filters, no pretending, just real conversations from women in the middle of it. So a little technical difficulty happened, and Shelby's responses were not recorded in our original podcast, but her responses just needed to be heard with her being a new mom. So we went back, asked Shelby the exact same questions, and recorded her answers, and we're inserting them into the podcast now. So welcome, ladies. I know we just kind of did a little introduction off the segment or off recording, but I want to just kind of go around the screen again and let everyone who's listening to get a little bit more of your story. And you can kind of go into a little bit deeper into your stories so that they can get a little bit better history of where you guys currently are. And then we'll start.
I am Shelby. I am Evonne's oldest daughter. And I currently have an 11-week-old today. First-time mom. So, learning a lot.
Gina, I'll let you go next.
My name's Gina. A lot of stuff of the journey of even just get to motherhood, because we had 2.5 years of infertility. And then our firstborn son was born with Down syndrome. So I was not only a new mom, but a mom with a special needs child. And so my world wasn't just a new mom, but therapies and all that. And then we had 2 more biological kids. And then we adopted 2 little girls from China. The youngest one, she's only 13. She's had 16 surgeries already. So she was born with cleft lip, cleft palate, and has had just many surgeries under her belt. So she's a trooper, been through a lot.
Gina, what's the ages with the children?
Our oldest is 26, almost 27. And then we have a 25-year-old who just got married in August. So he officially moved out of the house. And then we have a 22-year-old who's going to be graduating college in Indiana. And then we have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Nice. All right, Janet.
Yes, so my name is Janet, and I am going to be a new mom here officially, hopefully in 6 weeks, whenever this little, what I'm calling an angel baby, decides to join us Earthside. I did travel or challenge myself with some infertility that we did have as well, similar to Gina. We went on a 2-year journey with 22 months, 2 surgeries, and 2 clinics to be able to get us to this. So there's the power in 2. And then this baby's going to be born in June, which is a Gemini. It is not twins, but there are 2 in the twins cycle. So there's something with the number 2 that is happening for some reason with me in the universe. But we're very excited. We are very thrilled to be where we're at. We're very just ecstatic, to say the least. We know it's going to be hard, and Shelby, I'll probably tap you on the shoulder. With 10 weeks old, it is not easy. We all know that. I have loved children ever since growing up, started nannying when I was 12 years old, and always dreamed of having a family of my own. So it's been really a blessing to be able to be where we are today.
I love that. And I love everyone on this call has done a different journey. And so I guess that's maybe like the first question, like, what does mother mean to you? And I guess, how does that affect how you currently show up, how you're currently doing the job, and what maybe that looks like in the future for you too?
I think it's a love that nobody understands the strength of it until you are a mother. your kids will never love you as much as you love them. And they're the most important people in your life, and that will never reciprocate. Like, that mother's love is so strong. You can lose yourself easily for the good or the bad. A lot of sacrifices, but I've loved being a mother so much and really tried to treasure each stage. And now looking back, it's like, did I treasure the times enough? Because they were hard. I had 3 in diapers at the same time, and the therapies and the doctor's appointments and just trying to juggle everything. It's a lot. And you kind of can lose yourself, but there's nothing better to me than being the mom.
I love that.
I feel like being a mother, you just wing it. I love being a mom. It's definitely different because I came from no kids. Living my life, not having really any responsibilities besides working. So now that I have her, I feel like I have purpose. I feel like it makes me want to be better, do things better. I feel like I can't really slack or do anything wrong because I have this little human to take care of now. But I love being a mom. I love her.
For me, I think motherhood is just endless love, like Gina was saying, and also just the nurturing aspect. It doesn't mean that it's not difficult. It doesn't mean that we don't have our moments. It doesn't mean that we can't have our moments. It just allows us to be able to expand ourselves on a bigger scale and being able to show how much more we can give. I always go to the flamingo analogy of when there's a flamingo that gives birth to a newborn child, it actually loses its color because all the nourishment from that flamingo goes to that child. And it's very similar, I think, with women in general as humans. You just don't see the color change. There's other things going on internally that happen. And then eventually, hopefully, you have the right flock, like a flamingo flock, and you can gain all of that back and have that crew or people surrounding you to be able to like bring you up when you need to, or have the right support system, because it is not easy. Even I've had moments where we've been wanting this for so long, but I'm like, am I actually ready for this? Is this is going to be life-changing, but it's going to be in the best way. And there's going to be moments, and we just have to be graceful with ourselves when those moments do come.
I think that that's like the perfect thing. And I bet, don't want to come out and ask Shelby, but, I think maybe before, you were not saying you're hard on me, and I think this is kind of unique because me and you are mother-daughter, but I do feel the more that Layla starts to get older, I think the more grace that you can because I know that I gave my mom, I feel like, more grace as my kids started getting older. And I guess maybe talk about that a little bit in what stage, because I do think that sometimes mothers, man, we get such a hard rap sometimes, whether it's from our kids, from our in-laws, from someone on, that we don't even know, a stranger, so what do you feel mothers get, I guess, kind of hard on, that you're like, man, either that person hasn't been a mother or like they're just mean about everything else? Or
I would say there's so many different opinions being a mom, especially since I'm a first-time mom. You have so many different opinions coming from all these other moms. But I really just want to figure it out on my own and get my own rhythm and pace. And every baby is different. You can't just say, my baby did this and this worked for that. An example is with my breastfeeding journey, I'm exclusively pumping. She will not latch very well. So I've had a lot of different moms say, try this, try this, try this. And I have tried it all, and she just doesn't want to. That, and I would say I was kind of bad about, like, when I work from home, there's other moms that work from home. And I'm like, why can't you just take care of the kid and work? Like, it's got to be easy. And it's definitely not easy. I don't have time to do anything. So I feel really bad for saying, you're at home all day and you can just get it done. But that's not the case, because they are constantly needing something.
We'll get to the ChatGPT thing, because that was the new thing. And all new parents or grandparents who are becoming grandparents, I'm like, man, you better have your A game on, because these guys can ChatGPT these things so fast that your answers are not relevant anymore, But Go ahead and answer the first question. We'll get into the whole AI thing.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys did it, especially without technology, like all the cool gadgets we have today. Like I give you guys so much credit for being able to take care of kids without all of that and just knowing how to do it all. Yeah, it's hard, especially like when you're working and having to get up in the middle of the night. Like, I don't know how you guys did it. It's a lot. And then I would say also, I will probably give you more grace in the future when she's a little bit older, because I haven't had to experience that yet. But when I get the attitude from her, I'm sure I'll give you more grace.
For me, in terms of grace, I just give grace to other mothers too, because me just having no other children except the one that I am currently making, I'm like, I don't know how other moms do this when they have 2 or 3, or in Gina's case, 5 other kids. Like, just rolling out of bed, I'm like, oof, this is going to take a lot of effort right now. And to be able to have to do that and not worry about yourself and be selfless, more so than you already are, has just opened my eyes to that concept. I would say I don't have a huge grace period yet for my own mother until my child comes, probably because there's still comments that get made and different things. Like, if you don't eat peanut butter, they're going to be allergic. I'm like, that's not how that works. I don't even have to use AI to know that that's not how that works. It's just old school thinking. So I'm excited about the AI chat because I have a lot about that. But to Shelby's point as well, there's so many opinions. And so what I have done for myself, and there's just so much information at your fingertips regardless. But what I've done for myself is I know what I want and I decide, and then that's my decision. It doesn't mean that I won't take other opinions and maybe consider it down the road, but I have been very strict of like, cool, no big deal. Like, you can tell me what you want to tell me because you can't prevent people from saying what they're going to say, but I can prevent myself from absorbing what they say. And so I just kind of let it go in one ear and out the other so that I can stick to what I know is best, and what I know may not be best, but I think there's a power in learning how to be the mother that you're meant to be versus trying to compare yourself to how everybody else is supposed to be functioning, because each child and each experience and each woman is so different from one another.
I do think what you just said, Janet, is like huge, because if you think about me and Gina back in our day, like all we had was books. There was no internet back then, right? And I mean, internet was just coming up. So that's all we had was our parents and all the other opinions to kind of, I feel like, siphon through. So I do think that this is a new mother era with the information that is at your guys' fingertips versus back in our day. Like, I took my grandmother's advice of how to produce milk and drink a half a beer every day, you know, because there wasn't nothing else out there that, and you're like, yeah, I'll try this. And so you had it. And I think, and then that probably just created the people of these opinions that they're currently still doing the opinions because they got by with it for so long during our era. So
yeah. The best is like comes from people that don't have kids. Those just the best advice.
That's a hard bullet or pill to swallow, I guess you say, with the ones that don't have a kid, and then they want to give you advice. You're like, you don't know. So what about you, Gina? What do you think? Grace, or, what do you feel like mothers have a harder time dealing with than?
I think the stigma that it's easy, that we have all this time on our hands. And I even had a friend one time ask me if I just sit around and eat bonbons all day. And so, it's like, it's not an 8-to-5 job. It's, you're getting pulled from morning till morning, so it's just like all the time your time isn't your own anymore. And it's like, you think you're okay, I'm going to start dinner. And then all of a sudden, a kid throws up, or you need to get to a doctor's appointment. All of a sudden they have a poop blowout in the car seat. And, it's just not, you're being pulled all the time, so it's definitely not easy. And so those ones that, don't have kids, I had a friend of mine who didn't have kids at the time. He said, being late should never be an excuse because you're a parent. And it's like, oh, honey, you have no idea. It's like you're just about ready to go and then you can't find the kid's shoe, or like I said, the poop blowout, or like, it's just always this kind of this chaos that you're trying to juggle. But you have to give yourself grace. You have to realize people are giving you advice because they care. And I've learned to try to take people's advice, and like like we all said, then you can just be like, okay, I'm going to do what's best for my kid, but thank you for giving me advice. But I'm always been that I can't do this alone. And so if people are like, hey, can I bring you a cup of coffee? I'd be like, sure. Or can I bring you a meal? Yes. Like, it's humbling to have to ask for help or get advice, but it's lonely otherwise, and really hard if you don't seek your community and your tribe to help you.
Which that brings up a great point too, is about help, because I know Shelby can probably contest. I never asked for help. Like, I'm like, I can do this on my own. But you said that you reached out to your community, you reached out to other family, and to do that. So were you just like from the start, like, I'm going to be able, I want help, and you were accepting to that?
Yeah, like right away we reached out to the Down syndrome community, and they just provided so much support and hope and encouragement. And then I had a really good friend. We were in the throes of motherhood. We did infertility stuff together for a while, and then we both got like all three of our pregnancies were like back to back to back. And she was one of the moms where, like, I'm not going to ask for help. And her husband traveled all the time, and so she was home by herself with 3 babies, and I had my 3 babies, and she got so sick. And I went over there, and I'm like, I need to take your kids. I'll take care of your kids today. And she was just like, it was hard for her to let go and be like, I can't do this for myself. And she was like crawling up the stairs with a throw up bin, like, and then having to sit on the toilet while I'm taking her kid. She was still saying, you don't have to do this. I can do this, as she has, so sick on both ends. And I'm like, I can, like, let me just take your kids. And it was fine. Like, so then I took her kids for the day, and it just gave her a little reprieve so that she could be better. And it's like, and it's okay. It's okay to know I can't do this right now. Just let you help me, and to give yourself that grace and being humble and being like, I can't do this by myself.
Yeah. I wonder if that's another era thing, because, I didn't want to accept help. But then one of the biggest things that I commend Shelby for that I've seen is that she asked for help. And I wonder if the era, and Jan, you're like right in between, I think, with the age. So I think that there was like, as I was getting into business and a female, like, it was like, we had to prove something, and now what I kind of see with like the next generation that's coming up is like, yeah, you guys all proved that. Now we want it back to balance, and we don't have to do that. So I'll let you guys both talk about that with help. Like, I know, Shelby, you asked for help, and why was it so easy for you to do that versus seeing me not accept help?
Again, being a first-time mom, coming from being able to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I think I still have a little bit of that in me. So when someone is offering to like watch her, like, I'm gonna let them do it. Especially because I just moved and I'm getting ready to go back to work. I will take all the help I can get because I need to get some things done, so then it's not chaotic for me. But like, my mother-in-law comes to stay, she'll take the baby overnight. Like, I love my sleep, so I don't know. I feel like also you guys have raised kids, so you know what to do. Like, we survived, so you gotta at least know a little bit about a baby. So I don't know. I think a lot of it is just trust too. Trusting other people. Like, right now we have some med school friends downstairs watching her so we can get some unpacking done. I don't know. And a lot of it is like, I'm in the same room too. So if something does happen, like, I'm there. So I think that helps a little bit, but I haven't had it to the point where I've left her completely, especially with daycare coming up. So we'll see how that goes.
What about you, Janet? You think you're going to let help come in? Or are you like, where are you sitting?
I feel like I'm right in the middle because I struggle with it now. And I don't know who was talking about it earlier this week. It might have been you, Evonne, when we were chit-chatting, but it's that concept between like you are an independent woman, so you can handle your stuff. And I sit on the couch sometimes, I'm like, okay, I can get up and get water if I really need to. I don't even need to ask for somebody to get it. Or like yesterday, we were moving a dresser. My husband's like, don't do that. And I'm like, no, I can man up. I can move a dresser. Like, I can help you. I can do this. And he's like, stop. And it's so difficult for me to, you're switching a whole aspect of who you were into this new, beautiful, like motherhood that is coming. But it's a hard concept to go from, hey, I can do all of this on my own to, okay, I actually need help. And it's a balance that you have to try and not beat yourself up about. And talked about grace for your own mother. You got to have grace for yourself to be like, it's okay. Like, it is just me asking for water. It doesn't mean that I can't get it on my own. I just prefer to sit on the couch a little bit longer and have somebody get it for me. Or to Shelby's point, like, we do not have family down here for our first one, and we're hiring out for somebody to help at nighttime. Like, we saved up for it, and we're blessed that we were able to save up for it. But I'm like hoping I can have the same concept here, take my child, and I'm not going to have anxiety and be helicopter and all this. You really don't know until you get into it. But I'm hoping that will help me kind of break that chain of like, I have somebody that I trust. I have somebody that I know is going to care for my child, and I need to be okay that it is allowing me to nurture myself and take care of myself a little bit, even if it's just a few days a week, so that I can be fully charged to be able to do all the other things that need to be done.
I love that because I think that if you're not up all night and feel like that you have to do everything, that you're going to be so much more present for your children. And I don't know, I'm not speaking for you, Gina, but I just remember, like, I feel like the first 2 years you were just so exhausted. And then about the time we hit year 2 with Shelby, we were already thinking about a second child because we didn't want to get the too far apart. And so you went right back into it again. And with a full-time career and full-time, don't want to talk ill. I'm not talking ill about your dad, but it was just that generation. I felt like with husbands that he expected a meal on the table, like laundry being done. Like, I didn't have any internal help for all of those things. But again, that's how he was raised. And so that was his expectations. And then you're just trying to juggle it all, and, it was just a lot. Gina, what's a phase of life that did you like infant, toddler, adolescent? Probably not is on the table at the moment, or to kind of see them leave your house. Which chapter or all of them and why was your favorite at being a mom?
Honestly, I really have enjoyed each stage because I liked the baby stage when they're just little and just the preciousness of having a baby. Not that it wasn't hard, but the baby stage is so precious. Like, they'll never be that little and immobile. But the toddler stage was fun, when you saw all the different things of what they were learning. We'd play together and, just all those little things of going to the grocery store and talking in the cart, like, okay, here's apples, put 3 apples in the bag, and just really always engaging and playing with them. And I just really tried to play with them when they were little. And then when they got, a little older, just the more playing, goofing off in the house and seeing their personalities emerge. And the teenage stages, it's been fine. Like, it's good to be able to carry on conversations and go on adventures together. And the stage probably I don't like the most is when they leave the house, because I just feel like my heart isn't complete anymore. It was complete when they were all under the same roof. And now that 2 of them really don't live here anymore, my heart isn't complete. And I'm grappling with, how do you get past that with your heart feeling broken? It's awful. It's awful.
That's so cool. Shelby, what stage of life are you looking forward to? Or that you think that you're looking forward to?
Well, I would say maybe 6 months, because she actually starts sleeping through the night and she will let me set her down. So that'll be nice. But then also I'm looking forward to her being like a toddler and learning things and her little personality coming out and going to Target with her, being able to shop and being able to laugh at her with some of the crazy things she'll say. But also I can't wait for her to be able to do things on her own and be independent. So, I don't know. I'm excited for it all. It's every day so different.
It's amazing when you have these little humans and they're learning to talk, like speak a language, and they're learning how the world works. And you're seeing that right there. You're seeing this little tiny human learn things and to say things and how their brain is working and processing things and the funny things they say. And you're just amazed at how they talk and what they say and the words they use. And you're like, what did you just say? And so it's just so fun to see how their little brains start working and learning about the earth that they're living in.
I was so amazed when Shelby had her that I'm like, who designed all of this? Like, how did they think of everything for this little thing to come out? And they, I mean, if you really think about it, go down this rabbit hole with the whole creation God or whatever you kind of say in that, is that ears to hear and the mouth to talk and the tongue. And, I'm like, oh my God, if you really think about it, like we're pretty equipped with everything, right? And I don't know, again, whoever thought that this process, like there wasn't like a previous model that didn't have a tongue and then we upgraded, to the 2.0 human. So it's like or I say whoever, sorry, I'm not a big God fan, but, or don't say God, but whoever created then the universe or whoever you believe in, like they thought of everything the first time, right? Which is crazy. I mean, it's just super crazy. All right, Janet, what phase of life you're like, I don't know yet. Do you have
I don't. I mean, I think every phase is meant to be just a phase, right? Like, and you're supposed to cherish every moment of it. Again, to Gina's point, like it doesn't mean it's not going to be hard. It doesn't mean you won't have your moments. But I think about just, from a legal standpoint, at 18, they can basically do what they want, right? So you really only have 18 summers with them, if you think about it. And you can break it down even more depending on the phases of their life. So it's crazy when you have that concept of, man, like 18 does not seem like a lot. Like, and then when they're teenagers, they're going to want to be with their friends. I know I did. And now that I'm older, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have spent more time with my grandparents and understood them a little bit more and heard their stories and recorded their stories. And I even now start to journal about my dad. I ask him random questions like, what was your favorite thing when you found out you were pregnant with me? Did you want to be pregnant with me? Like, just finding out that information about your parents and like how they felt just paints a whole new picture. But I think it all has a phase for a purpose. And I know my husband, this is his first as well, my first. And we're trying to figure it out. And I was like, there's a reason why you're not given a toddler or a 3-year-old, because that would just be wild. And when we nanny for some of our friends, it's just crazy. And he's like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, you can, because the newborn stage, they're cuddly, they're fun, but yeah, they can't speak or do anything and they can't really tell you what's wrong. And then they become toddlers and they can communicate a little bit better with you. And then they have their personality. And I would say that's probably going to be my favorite, I think, right? We don't know. But I think when they develop their personality and you're like just laughing at the funniest things that they can say, or you're like, where did you learn that from? Or just some of these videos that you've seen on social media where a girl is trying to unbuckle her seat and they're like, can I help you? And she's like, nope, you just worry about yourself. Like, we're like, where did you get that? And it's just the cutest little thing. And again, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have moments where they have their tantrums and you're just like, what is happening right now? But to your point, Evonne, like that higher power did this for a reason. And there's reasons why there's phases and ups and downs of it. Because if it was completely high all the time, then we wouldn't know what the difference of that would become our new norm. And we wouldn't respect that this is a good moment. And then the lows, like, even though they suck, they make you appreciate kind of where you're at in life and they teach you those lessons. So I think, especially with what we went through with infertility, I'm definitely on this path of it all happens for a reason. All the timing is for a reason. And I'm just leaning into that one pretty hard.
I think phase is that's such a good word because even good or bad, you think when like your baby starts sleeping through the night, you're like, well, then all of a sudden 3 weeks later, they have, start not sleeping through the night. You're like, seriously, I thought they were going to start sleeping through the night. Well, it's just a phase. Like maybe it will be a month that they don't sleep through the night again, but they'll get to it. So like all those, you got to always have to remind yourself, it's just a phase. So yeah, maybe they're stomping with anger right now. It's not going to be forever. They're just kind of trying to learn what anger looks like and how to grasp how to handle it. So it's just a phase. So like good and bad phases are phases. So yeah, sometimes in the midst of when you're like, man, I thought we had gotten through this. It's like, well, it's just a phase. So it will be okay.
And I feel like that goes with our own journeys too. Like I would not want to be in the phase I was when I was a teenager. Absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm good. I've moved on. And now I have a new phase kind of going into it. So it's all part of the learning process and developing like who you're meant to be in this world that we have today.
I agree. Janet, have you said the famous words like, when I become a mom, I'm not going to?
I don't know if I would have said those words. I do compare to my own childhood experiences because we always want for, or so I hear, we always want for our children things that maybe we did not feel that we got when we were growing up or how to do things a little bit differently. So I've never said those famous words or I'm not going to do this or not do that. It's more or less me and my husband being on the same page of like, this is what we do want to do. This is how we want to raise them. This is what we will agree upon. And being the fact that we went through an infertility journey, and maybe Gina, you can contest as well, you have more difficult conversations that you never thought that you would have of like what that journey is going to look like because you don't know if you actually can conceive. So you go into a little bit of a deeper relationship and I've seen it go both ways. You can either be torn apart or you can get closer together. And I was very blessed that we got closer together and we were able to be in that journey together. And even though it was my body that was going through a lot for the infertility, you can't forget that he also has his own journey of watching me go through this and he's helpless. He can't do anything. He can't fix my uterus. He can't fix the endometriosis. He can't fix that I have to take all these hormones. Like he can't do any of that. Like that is what modern medicine is for. So I don't know if I've said those famous words yet. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm more or less like, this is how I would like to, kind of looking it on the other side. Because at the end of the day, I could sit here and say I'm not going to do it, but you don't know. I'm sure I'm going to come out with one phase of like, they're going to say why too many times. And my response is going to say, because I said so. And that's just going to be the response.
Yep. What about you, Shelby? Did you say, I'm not going to do this when I become like, obviously she hasn't done anything too much, but I know sleeping in bed was one of the things for you. You're like, she's not sleeping in my bed. That hasn't gone well.
Yeah, I said I would not let her sleep in bed with us, but I want a few extra hours of sleep, so I'll throw her in there with me. It's always safe, of course. I would say maybe another thing is like what I let her wear or like how her hair looks or a certain little feature on her. Like if a kid has a unibrow, like I want to shave that. But if she has a unibrow, I think it's cute. So it's so different when it's your own. Like what you think other people's kids look like and you wouldn't do. It's so different with your own. You just think everything's cute. Like, I wouldn't let her wear holy clothes, but she's wearing holy clothes because she just didn't spit up on them. So what's the point?
What about you, Gina? Did you, with the first baby, you're like, you went into it having, these are my rules, and then, or did you stick to them?
I really can't think. The only thing I can think of is I knew that I didn't want to be a stressed out mom who had a clean house all the time. My house is picked up and organized, but I didn't want to be stressed about it all. Like, who cares if there's dishes in the sink? Like, I wasn't going to be stressed out about it. And so I really tried to play with my kids and make sure we were having eye-to-eye contact and goofing off and playing and listening to music, and dirty dishes could wait, and I wasn't going to be overcome by that.
No, I love that because I was the one who the house was always OCD. I was very, strict with that. And I do think back to the moments that I missed out because I was scrubbing floors or trying to do it all perfectly. And yeah, that's one thing that I do regret raising the girls is that I probably could have taken more time to go outside and left the dirty floors and no one would even cared. But
and my house looked always picked up and organized. It just maybe wasn't like clean.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me self-care. Jane, you probably have the most with 5. What did you do or did you not do it? And you did, did you learn self-care in the very beginning after child 1? Obviously not because you had, well, not obviously, but you had 3 babies in diapers at the same time. So that had to be a challenging moment for self-care.
Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of basic. Like I always made sure I dressed for the day. I never stayed in my pajamas. Washed my face and put a little makeup on. That made me feel a little better than just being in my pajamas. That was about all. It was like, okay, 5 minutes that I kind of took care of myself and that was it, So once in a while, especially when you have little breaks, go on a walk by yourself or, just maybe take a little extra long shower, just to have a little self-care. It's not big self-care. So, yeah.
Now that you've gotten almost 50% of them out of the house, do you think that that's going to look different for you in the future for self-care?
For sure.
Are you making up for lost time?
Yeah, I already can tell, because now I'll get massages and get facials and go on walks. I go to the gym by myself and it's way different. Yeah, it's way different.
So hang in there in the beginning because you're going to get it in the end.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What about you, Shelb? Are you doing anything for self-care at the moment besides sleep? It just sounds like sleep is all your theme is today.
There is no self-care. I'm lucky if I get a shower every day. I take my dog for a walk, and that's about 5 minutes of alone time that I get each day. So no self-care, but I'll eventually get back into it, maybe when she goes to daycare. Get my Botox again.
What about you, Janet? Do you have rules in place? You're like, with your husband, be like, Thursdays, I'm going out.
I don't have any rules per se. I'm a huge component of self-care in general. I think the biggest struggle for me is going to be what that shift is going to look like once I have a little human that I am going to be responsible for. So like right now, I still have the freedom to get those facials, to get a massage, to do whatever I want, go get a cup of coffee and not worry about it. And I do that today. So I think the biggest shift for me is going to be that mindset of like, I don't have that freedom. Or if I am going to do that, it's no longer, let me just run real quick to the store. It's okay, this is going to be a 45-minute to an hour trip just to go get a cup of coffee because you got to get the kid in the car seat. And if they have a blowout or whatever that case may be, there's just all these different components that are going. So what I'm trying to shift my mindset to is more preferences of things versus planning so that I can have a preference. Because if you have a plan and then it doesn't go to plan, then you start criticizing yourself. You have this like mom guilt that's always constantly being out there. But if I have a preference of like, this is what I'm going to try and do today without any other stipulations tied to it, I feel like I can maybe digest when things don't go quote unquote as planned. And so it will allow you to kind of be a little bit more flexible with that. And so I'm trying to shift that mindset to like, let's have preferences, don't have a plan. And that's hard, especially for a type A person to not have a plan, but have those preferences of like, let's just prefer to do this today. And however we get to that end goal, then we'll say it's success. So it is going to be a shift. It is going to be something I think you have to get a lot of reps in to really be okay with it and just go with the flow as much as possible, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be hard to be able to get there.
Well, Shelby kind of mentioned it first about the mom guilt of going back to work. And that, do you have anything else, do you think, Shelby, that you can predict for mom guilt?
I would say if I'm doing the right things for her, I feel guilty about that. Like, I'm having a drink right now and I feel guilty for drinking because I'm breastfeeding. So it's like I have to make sure I test the milk and also like making sure I eat the right things for her because if she has an allergy, I don't know, I feel guilty about that. I don't know, I really haven't experienced too much yet. If I feel like as she gets older, I think I will. You know, if I like yell at her for something, I feel like I'll feel guilty about that. But right now she doesn't do too much, so I guess just making sure I'm taking care of her the right way. And if I don't, I don't know, like if I don't bathe her every night, like there's a little bit of guilt there. Or if I set her down for a little bit and let her cry, I feel guilty. Like I want to, I don't know, console her all the time and not doing enough tummy time. Like if I give her a flat head, I'm going to feel guilty about it. But right now there's not too much guilt, but I think it will come.
What about you, Gina? Did you have mom guilt with anything with the kids?
Mostly with my oldest son, the one with Down syndrome, because there was always maybe another therapy I should have done with him or a certain supplement that I should have done. And maybe I should have been working better, on with this type of like occupational therapy or fine motor skills, or a certain toy that could help him learn better. But it's like, I don't know, you can't, like, because you can't do it all. And so I really tried not to let myself get down when I was like, ooh, maybe I'm not doing enough. But it's hard, like, because when you're in survival mode and you're busy and you're tired, and it's hard not to feel guilty. You just can't let your mind go there. You're loving your child and doing the best you can, and you can't let your mind go there.
I think mom guilt is hard, and I think that we're getting a lot more grace in this era of females, and the mom, that's coming up with the mom guilt is like, it's a little bit, I feel like it's not as relevant sometimes. I mean, I know that it's still there. Obviously, Shelby, you're still new and, feeling that, but I think that there's a little bit more grace that we've gotten, through the years versus back in when moms were pretty much staying at home during a little bit more of my era of being a mom, and you're going, I remember that was one thing my mom said. She's like, I just can't believe that you're going to let someone else raise your child. And I'm like, are you paying my bills? Because we weren't living out of, our means what so much, but it still took 2 incomes back then to, have a house and pay the grocery bills and pay the car and all that. So what about social media and the electronics and the technology thing coming up? How is that going to play into parenting with you guys?
I think there's 2 sides to that, on kind of what you were talking about of like the community in general and like mom guilt and it as a whole. I think that's never going to go away, right? Like we have our own standards for ourselves. But what I think has been helpful in social media in general, even when we were going through infertility, is there's a huge community out there. And hearing somebody else's story sometimes and relating to that was actually really nice. You can easily get into your own headspace and be really worried about, okay, what about this and what about that and this and that? And then you hear somebody else's story and you're like, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Like I am enough. I can do this. And it helps from a social media standpoint to have that. On the other side, sometimes I do think there is a lot of opinions, even more so, and a lot of different ways people do things. And it's hard to streamline what the perfect way is for you. So I think there's definitely pros and cons when it comes to social media and what's out there. It's good to be able to relate to somebody else or be able to have a similar situation to know you're not alone. But on the flip side, it's also like, this is a lot of information. Maybe, as Shelby was mentioning in the beginning, when it comes to breast feeding and how you should do it versus this and sticking with it versus pumping versus that. And it makes it difficult when you have other people who are showing themselves of pumping, I don't know, like a ton of milk, and they're able to share it with other people. And then you have that situation, well, why can't I? Like, what am I what am I doing differently? What are they doing? And it makes it difficult to be able to stick to a particular preference that you may have because there's so many different opinions of how you should do it versus just sticking to like, hey, this is what I know works for me. I'm going to do it. It's all going to be okay. my child also is getting the nutrients that they need. The doctor's fine with it. I'm fine with it. It's okay. I don't need to compare myself to how other people are doing. So there's definitely two sides to it for sure. And I think there's a level of anxiety that comes along with all of that too, of having too much versus feeling part of a community as well.
Yeah, you want to feel encouraged, and but you definitely don't want to feel discontent or being like comparing yourself, because like comparing yourself really is the thief of joy. Like you just can't. So just, you got to just feel the encouragement of it all from social media, but not the negative part of it.
Yeah. No, I think it can be positive and negative. I really didn't even think about that, Janet, like the things that you just said. So that, there really is a positive side to the social media versus it getting hit so hard with the negative. Shelby, you have anything to add to social media besides your 5 minutes of TikTok?
I love social media. I think it's helpful. I mean, there's pros and cons to it. I don't really let the cons get to me. I brush it off. I don't really care what other people say. But I think there's more pros for me because I can easily take a picture of her poopy diaper and upload it to ChatGPT, and it'll tell me, what's wrong with her, what I need to do, and how to fix it. It'll give me like an entire routine of like how I should breastfeed throughout the night, or like my pumping schedule. Like I can just easily type something into ChatGPT and it's there. Or even like TikTok, I'll get like suggestions on things. Like I reviewed her stroller through other people on TikTok. I love it. It's been super helpful. It's basically like parenting for me, which I love because I don't know what I'm doing.
Good. Yeah.
Usually when we Google those things, we like died 3 weeks last. Diagnosis. You died 3 weeks ago. You don't know it.
All right. Last question before we wrap this all up. All three of you are in different stages of momhood, but tell me your best piece of advice for the moms out there, or the soon-to-be moms.
I would say not sweating the small things. Just let things go. You have many more days to come to get things done. But the babies, they grow so fast. Like, I can't believe I have an 11-week-old already. She's grown so much. She's huge. So I have OCD, so letting my dishes pile up or my laundry pile up or a speck of dust, not getting that done. It was hard at first, but now I'm trying to just let it go. Like, it'll be there tomorrow. I can always do it. But if I miss her, like, roll or something, like, I'm going to regret that. So trying not to worry so much about the housework because it'll get done eventually. But I want to be able to spend time with her and not forget or miss out on things.
What about you, Janet? Best advice?
I think if I had to choose one thing, it's stick to your own truth. There is a ton of information out there, which is great, whether it's you're getting it through social media, through ChatGPT, through other words of wisdom. Figure out, though, what fits well with you and your soul and what your truth is, so that as you go into situations, whether it's preferences that you have, like I have certain preferences that I want for my birth, and I want that to be my truth, and have that be, hey, this is the way I want it to go. It doesn't mean it won't change. Doesn't mean I can't have other avenues. But if I can stick to my truth as best as possible, I know I will have a less level of anxiety. I will feel more comfortable with the way things went. And I could be proud of myself of, I knew what I wanted. It maybe didn't go to as planned, but there was still this beautiful outcome that came from it. So I think stick to your truth, find your truth, and make sure that you're just able to kind of block out some of that noise. As long as you're comfortable with it and you're okay with it, then it's all going to be okay.
Love that.
I think mine would be to give yourself lots of grace, that you can't be perfect, and to let your kids see that you can't be perfect all the time. And just to see the joy in the journey, even if it's just those small little things. It does go fast, motherhood. And looking back, it's like, just go on the damn vacation, or just go to the library, or go on a picnic. Even if it's in your backyard, just like take the time to be together and to cherish those times together, because you never know, when life changes. So to cherish each day, see the joy in the small stuff.
Well, all three of you wonderful mothers have stolen all of my best advice. And so I think the only thing that I would add to all three of your guys' great advice is that you need to have fun with it. I think so much time that, that we might still be sweating the small stuff. We still might be listening to people's opinions, and we might be so hard on ourselves. We're not giving ourselves grace. And then we forget about the fun, and those days go by super fast. And if you're not out there having fun, laughing, and making memories, then we wouldn't be able to have any of these conversations, because there wasn't nothing to talk about. So, well, I want to say thank you again for everyone and your busy mom schedules that you took out for our conversation today. And I know that everything that you guys have said is going to hit someone wherever they are as being a mother, and that you guys have gave back so much just having this conversation today. So happy Mother's Day to all three of you lovely ladies.
Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for having us.